welcome to another amazing episode of The Reflection Show. My name is Martha Anabila. I believe that a lot of us have heard, know, seen, felt menstruation. It's a condition that I think we don't pay so much attention to, or sometimes we just brush over it and we just want to go away. But it's something that I think even young men should pay serious attention to because it's a major concern. Today we'll be looking at menstrual hygiene. We'll be looking at everything young people in relationships can understand menstruation, irregularities, etc. Everything you need to know and understand about menstruation is right here on The Reflection Show. Let's go for a break. When we are back, I introduce my guest and we start the discussion. Do stay tuned.
Ella, yele. Praise the Lord, Wow. Yeah. Are you ready? Okay.
Like a rainbow, so my life be colorful. If you don't know, a life with this man is beautiful. Sing to the glory of God.
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 It's He I know. Everywhere I go, it's He I see. Anything I do, it's He I go. Seeking first all things you shall do.
Hello and welcome back to The Reflection Show. I have two amazing young women in my studio and I want you to keep watching this episode because it's something that is going to inspire you and make you a better person because of course it's not an what's the name, inspiration or motivation segment, but at least it helps to understand your body as a young person or even as a woman, and it helps you to even understand your partner as well. So I have here Kenny Husnat. She's a relationship coach, and Fadila Fusaini. She's the founder of Tiyumba Hope Foundation, and she's also a nurse by profession. So the topic again is menstruation. Welcome, ladies, to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's start. Let me start with the nurse. Maybe you want to go to the clinical aspects, using all the clinical jargons to explain menstruation. But when you hear menstruation, what is it about?
Okay, first of all, thank you very much for having me here today. And let me just go straight to the point. Menstruation basically means a flow, bleeding, or a flow, a menstrual flow that usually comes every month at the end of the month. And this is usually experienced by women, which is what we all know. So basically, menstruation means bleeding or having your period, as you usually say, by the end of the month.
Kenny, anything? What do you think know about menstruation?
Oh, okay. Thank you for having me here as well. So I would say menstruation, according to, I actually paid attention in biology because it was my favorite subject.
Okay.
So menstruation is the releasing of the eggs at the peak of after ovulation. It sheds itself because it's waiting for a sperm and the sperm is not coming. So it sheds itself in form of blood. That's why we have the bleeding every month.
Okay, so I believe that at first we heard people start menstruating around 18, 19, but now even up 10 years old, people are menstruating. Do you think that it's because of some factors, maybe diet, environment, etc.? Do you think these are some of the reasons why young girls start menstruating at a very early stage?
Yes, I think that diet is one of the major contribution of early menstruation, and then also environment. But the environment is not that much as compared to the diet, because when you look at our food, what we consume today is full of chemicals, and you all know that whatever you are taking in have a greater impact in the system. And so by all means, at certain age that you are not even expected to have your menses or your flu, at the end of the month it comes because of what you take in. So there is some kind of hormonal changes in your system, which would lead you to at least having your menses early stage in your life.
Now let us zoom into the main reason. I believe that I'm not delving so much on this because everybody knows what menstruation is. At least if you don't even know much about everything, you know that a woman bleeds or blood comes out from women at the end or the beginning or once a month. Let me put it like that. So I want us to look at the menstrual hygiene aspect. It's like it's been a major concern. When we say menstrual hygiene, what do we mean?
Okay, when we talk about menstrual hygiene, basically we are looking at having a healthy menstruation. That is what it simply means. Okay. And then when you look at our system or in our part of the world here, much attention have not been paid to menstrual hygiene. Because most people do not kind of take this into critical consideration because they just feel like it's a normal thing that comes at the end of the month. And it's something that you experience, so much attention should not be paid to it. You shouldn't even be educated. As in, when you start having your menses, some of the things you should do and things you shouldn't do. So at the end of it all, because you are not able to put some healthy measures in place, you end up putting yourself into stuff that you least expected. Because now, when you look at the system, we have a whole lot of conditions. STIs are known everywhere, sexually transmitted infections, and then also infertility. And these are all contributing factors because when you don't pay attention to your menstruation, when you don't hygienically or health-wise take good care of it, of course it leads you to a whole lot of things. So I think that much attention should be paid to some of these things, more particularly menstruation, because a healthy life is very important. And then when you also look at our homes, you see that a woman will get married at the age of 30, the person is not conceived. Some at the early stage, some even late 30s, and they are not conceiving. And they kind of surround this with some kind of beliefs and then, mind. Whether the person was having some kind of bad life when she was young and all that stuff, no. It's because when you were coming up, there were some things you actually didn't pay critical attention to. And menstrual hygiene is one of the key factors because you don't pay attention to them and it creates a lot of, serious problems in your system. And those things are not stuff you can actually see. You can't actually see them, but it's actually causing gradual, condition in you.
In what ways, let me come to Kenny on this. In what ways do you think that we can keep ourselves healthy or hygienic during menstruation?
Okay, so based on some of the small research I have done, I have noticed that usually when we menstruate, we're in a lot of pain. One, my body becomes automatically uncomfortable. I don't like to be seen outside. I become ashamed. I start having pimples. I start feeling hot and cold all at the same time. So it's like my body is going through a lot when I'm menstruating. Now, because our society is not really comfortable with menstruation, you see a lot of, you are just menstruating. It doesn't mean you shouldn't come to work. But there are times when you can be in so much pain. You can get paralyzed from the waist down. They would have to rush you to the hospital. You'll be in the hospital throughout the whole period of the menstruation. It can be so painful and unbearable. So some of the foods that we take, during the time when we are menstruating, we start getting cravings for sweet things, like ice cream, chocolates, toffee, biscuits. That is what we usually take to calm our body down. They complain that, it's going to cause whites, they're going to get diabetes. But then I've noticed that during that time, your sugar level is actually very, very low.
Really?
Yes, you will become so weak and you're tired. But when you take a little bit of sugar in form of the ice cream, you feel better and the coolness too
And it
helps.
increases the pain.
It depends on everybody.
Okay.
It's different for everybody. For someone like me, ice cream works.
Okay.
I will take it and I will not even feel a single pain throughout.
Wow.
It doesn't matter what painkiller I take. Tramadol self, I will still be there waiting.
Yeah.
So the food we take, we have to start eating healthier. Vegetables, we take a lot of iron, food that will replace the blood that we are losing. Taking milk, and then you sleep in a comfortable environment with a lot of pillows. You proportion your belly properly so that even if you are lying down, you're not putting pressure. if possible, a very nice massage from our partners or even people that are close to us that can help, because the lower back pain to his parts, and then they should make us feel comfortable and not self-conscious about our appearance when we are menstruating.
Okay, so young people who have just started menstruating, there are times that they don't even have this kind of knowledge. What do you think? Is it because we are shy to talk about it, or what is causing that?
Okay, I think that, as my sister rightly said, society frowns against some certain things that I think is not necessary. Menstruation is something that she have mentioned a lot of things that when you are menstruating, you go through, body weakness, abdominal cramps, and all those stuff. And that is the critical time you need attention, even if you are not married or you are even single and you are living with your parents. That's the time you should even give you more attention because you need it. So the kind of belief most of our people have, both religious and tradition, and the way they frown against some of these things is something that I think children at the early stage should have that education. It's not bad to sit your walls down to educate them about the menstruation. It's better for the child to get it from home than to get it outside. Because when she gets it outside, the chance of peer influence becomes high. Because she had to learn some things from people, not from the right source. So whatever they are giving the child outside, it could be positive or negative. But we pray for more of the positive than the negative. So our people believe that when you teach your child down to educate your child about your menstruation, even sex, it means that you are introducing the child into an early sex, or even involving in some malpractices, which both our religion, both Christianity and Islam frowns against. So I think that parents should rather set with their words at the early stage, because the things you least expected the children to know. They watch TVs, they go on social media, especially that now smartphones are common. Children who are even primary have access to things you, even the parents doesn't even have. So it's good to educate the child than the child to go in search of those things, because she might get the wrong information from the wrong place. So the effect and the impact it has on the child is something you cannot handle. So I think tradition, religion should not frown against those things. They should sit their children down at the early stage. Literally, you see that your child is coming up with breast, pubic hair, and all those things. That is the time you should sit the child down, whether she has started her menses or not. Sit the child down to educate the child about it, because it's very important. And it's one of the things as the parent, you owe the child a duty. And that is a duty. It's not about providing clothing, sheltering the child, providing food and all that stuff. The health aspect of the child is very paramount as a parent. Because if she goes out to do something, it comes back to the family. And nowadays that our societies are more interested in family need than even what comes or what befalls you, the child. They prioritize protecting and kind of covering the family more than you, the child.
In what ways can I keep myself hygienic while I'm menstruating?
Okay, first of all, accessibility to sanitary pads. You know, most of our communities, most of the young girls are still using the rackets we used to use then. So accessibility. When the child is able to have access to sanitary pads, it's an empowerment. Because your inability to get it, you are vulnerable as a child.
Yes.
And that is one step many people can take advantage of you as a girl. So accessibility to sanitary pads is one. Family, love. During your menses, you need love, you need support. She said something, and which is something I also feel when I'm even menstruating. You crave for so many things.
Yeah.
When I'm in my menses, every to my menses, I crave for a lot. I buy a lot. In my menses, I do see. A week after my menses, I still buy.
So basically, for 3 weeks of every month, you just want a lot of things, because there's menstruation, there's ovulation, and post-menstruation, or before the menstruation comes.
And you know, during the ovulation period is even one of the dangerous periods of every child's life.
Yeah.
Because at that point, there are so many release of hormones in your body. And the person feels...
The hormones begin to resurrect.
Exactly. And then you just feel what you cannot explain. At that time, you need love. You need that kind of support. You need someone to hold you. You understand? So if you don't get that from the parents, and then she goes out to get it from someone outside, what do you think will happen? Because it's a feeling that you really feel to have someone around, someone to hold you. You understand? So one of the factors is accessibility to sanitary pads, love and support from parents, advice and encouragement. They should advise you, they should encourage you, because they are all trying times. They don't pay attention to this, but they are all trying times for you. You understand?
Yeah.
In some parts of the world, when a child is even menstruating, come on, come and see how the child will be treated.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Africa, it's a different thing altogether.
You would even be discarded. I say discarded because some families won't even allow you to even cook, use the same bowl as they are using,
Yeah.
enter a particular environment because you are menstruating.
Yeah.
And that is so embarrassing. That is so challenging. Ken, let me come to you. What more do you think that for me to have a very hygienic menstruation that I need?
Okay, well, she has mentioned some part of it. And then the most important, I feel, would be panties. Now, most of the time when we buy panties, I feel like women are much more meticulous when it comes to choosing underwear. But some of us, please, let me just admit, I can be lazy
To choose the right
the right underwear. So you have to check the what's this thing called?
The texture.
Thank you. The texture of the underwear. Is it cotton? Is it nylon? Now remember, nylon creates heat. You'd be there and you're sweating, it's hot. That is not good when you're menstruating. The chances of you breathing your own infection, literally, is very high. By the time you stop menstruating and the place is supposed to be getting dry, you are solving another issue again. So the panties, the type of pad. Now the problem now is, we are lucky, some of us can actually afford proper. Or the one with a little bit of mint, and when you wear it, it feels so comfy and cool. Some of us can only afford diva.
Don't mention types.
Okay.
No one
No
is
types.
advertising.
Okay, yes. So there are some different types that according to your price range that you can afford. So sometimes it is what you have that you would buy. And now normally the health practitioners always advise us that we should wear our pads for 4 hours interval. There are some people with the heavy flow, some with the light flow.
Sometimes we are even so busy we wear it up to 8 hours.
Oh God, that's not good.
Yeah. No, but of course, at a point we've all been victims. Sometimes if you are available or close to, sometimes you even go for some programs or for some meetings, you are menstruating and there is no place you can even change.
There is not even available pads even in the bath. It's only outside. It's in China.
Yeah.
I heard that every single bath,
Yeah, pads.
there's a sanitary
even
pad.
Ghana,
There's a
you even carry your own pad, though, but a
See,
place to even
change. It's not that, because you have to be careful. You can't dispose the pad in another dustbin.
Oh, but I mean,
Somebody can, now the spiritual aspect, somebody can go and pick it and go and use it for something.
Yeah.
That fear is already there. So I have to hold, and the smell. I have to hold it and tie it in a rubber and put it in my bag.
So that you can get home.
Just get home and burn it by myself.
I've never burnt my pad.
Really? How do you dispose your pad?
I just dispose it with a lot of tissues in a rubber, and I add it to the trash. I don't know if I can stand it.
I think it's a Nigerian thing. They had to teach us how to burn. To teach you how to burn it.
Okay.
Because somebody would take it, wash the blood off, and use it for something bad.
I think it was in it for it. You can go to the salon. Someone will take your hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be it could be your sweat. I could be sitting by you and you will say, "Oh, Martha, let me see." And you wipe my sweat. So I think that some of these things are just misconceptions. Because how about inhaling it? You are burning the thing, you are inhaling the thing. Can't it even cause you more harmful stuff?
Well.
So of course, moving on from that.
Let me quickly add up something to what she said. You see, with the practicing a hygienic way of being safe, one of the things that we usually don't pay attention to is our public washrooms in our homes. You know, earlier when I made mention of sexually transmitted infections, and anytime you mention sexually transmitted infection, people usually think that infections are gotten through sex.
Just sex, yeah.
But not knowing that infections are airborne diseases.
Okay.
They are things you easily come into contact with and you pick it up from them.
Okay.
Especially if the disinfection process is not done properly. Look at our homes. A full compound house with a lot of people use only one washroom.
Yeah.
And the disinfection is very poor.
Yeah.
So imagine something. If someone is having an infection,
Everybody.
come to use the washroom where the person has squatted in it, and the place is moisturized.
And if you observe, maybe in a particular week you are out of home and you use a bit of public toilet.
Yes.
Or yes, like you. I don't know about you girls, but I see a change
Exactly.
in my private
Yes,
part.
Exactly.
we
So
all
you
see
feel
it.
that no matter what, sometimes it's because I'm able to realize it early. I'm able to know how to treat it. Not even treat it, but you can just find a way, like wash yourself more and let it go.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. We'll be back. It's getting more interesting. Stay tuned. Understanding the importance of the eye will help you identify the best measures to stay healthy and not be a victim to visual impairment or going totally blind. At the Northern Community Eye Hospital here in Tamale, it's our mandate to give your eyes the best care it needs. Our experts are experienced and on standby to give you the best treatment or surgery where necessary. In our facility, we have modern equipment and amazing experts who understand the need to give you nothing but the best care to improve your vision. The Northern Community Eye Hospital services include eye screening for need of eyeglasses, for diabetes, glaucoma, and for all other eye diseases. Lasers, including a new glaucoma treatment that saves you from anti-glaucoma eye drops. We are the only eye care facility with this machine. Eye services for children, screening for individuals and staff of corporate organizations. We have a large variety of beautiful eyeglasses, both for vision and reading, and also sunglasses. We equally do delivery of eyeglasses to every part of Ghana and beyond. We sell all necessary eye medicines in our pharmacy at an affordable price. Our working hours are from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 10 a.m. to 12 noon on public holidays. Reach us on 059-2580-019 or 037-202-8610. We are located on the Sanargu Road 400 north of Stadium Runabout.
Nina Niger, Nimba Yunga, and that's a kind of particular name. But don't let Lima calculate the Kato shell no such a can. You could get a Lafi high, the way years so the Benmon the Bay shout, we could not have it. I put them to let the gun in Amanda Bishop. Is a company in Yellow, Nabi, the many not dirty, the Tom the Mama, Kabzahan. Kana ntele mo dala fiso sana ro so ai kiri mo kana tele ko dala fiso ipu e papa.
Welcome back from the break. It's getting so interesting here. So we'll quickly move on to how to dispose parts. We've looked at burning, and then there are times that people want to even flush in the toilet. Some will just throw it away. Anyone who finds it should find it. What are some of the best ways we can dispose parts?
Okay, to me, I think right after removing the pad, it's good you wash the pad, wash the blood off, then wrap it. You know, when you take the pad and you remove it, there is a rubber
Yes.
in it.
Yeah.
So you can fold it.
So that's what I do. I just take it, I fold the pad first,
Exactly.
and I put in the rubber, and I fold it again.
fold it
put
again.
tissues around it, and put it
And
in
tie it,
yeah.
yes, and put it in that space. That is the safest way. As you were saying, that people will take it, wash it, use it for so many things. Yes, for in a world like this, we expect a lot of spiritual stuff, people using things to do any other things that you want to do. So the best way you can put yourself in the safer way is just to wash it and then wrap it neatly and nicely and then put it in the trash can.
Can
Yeah.
how would you dispose of your pad?
As for me, I'm used to the burning. So normally, I'm a light floor. It's not usually really heavy. So even if by the time I'm removing it, it's already dry because I don't waste time. Every 4 hours, pepper. There are sometimes I can be lazy. But usually it's dry. So when I even wrap and burn, it burns. It will burn.
So it's when it takes longer that it's difficult to burn.
Sometimes if the blood is very heavy,
It's difficult to burn.
it's difficult
Yeah.
to burn. Yes. And the funny thing is, even though it ends up in the trash, the funny thing is, where's the trash going to end up?
It will be burnt. Some too get into our water bodies.
Yes, and the ones that they just throw on the. I'll be walking on the road and I'll see somebody's
Yeah.
pad just lying down on the road. I'm like,
Sometimes so
at
embarrassing
this
even
time,
as a woman.
I don't know. Couldn't they do something where they can process a particular type of waste for only pads?
It will take 50, 100 years for that to get to Ghana.
It would
Yes,
help.
actually, in Africa,
Because
yes, it's a bit
every-
difficult.
Because we are still
woman.
trying to get young girls accessible to pads.
To parts,
We are
yes.
trying to let people understand even the best ways to use pads, so they don't think. Of course, sometimes it's too extreme. You have so much heavy flow, and by the time you know your pad has shifted, and then
You are
and
staying.
you are
Oh my
staying and
God.
all of that. Sometimes too, like for me, I usually have a lot of pain. So before it comes, I know that the thing is coming. But there are times that I was given a medication. There are times that like I don't really feel. So sometimes if you're not careful, it would come and you wouldn't know that it would come. But if you know yourself, there are times that I don't know about you, but if like 3-4 days, like for me to menstruate, I have discharges. Is it
Yes.
normal?
Yes.
Yes.
So when it's coming, I feel
Yes.
a discharge coming from it. So
Nipple
anytime,
heavy.
yeah. So there are times that I'm actually feeling a discharge. I even think that Charlie, my menses have come, and I go and it's a discharge. So I think if you pay attention to your body and get to know how something comes out of you, then even if it's not hurtful in your abdomen or somewhere, then you can know how to do it. But as for the breast, and it's because sometimes I have to even stop wearing bra, because when I wear bra, if my breast is paining, so I have to remove the bra like one and hold my
Yes,
breast,
yes.
remove it like two, then maybe I'll hold it like this, then try to open at the back, then I'll now hold it and like okay now release and release. And it's so sometimes even bathing and you typically touch with like your nipple, it's so painful. And sometimes I'm like, do we have to go through this every month?
Yeah.
Because there are times that me when I'm menstruating, I'm about to menstruate, I feel very nausea.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know, you think that I'm
You're
pregnant.
pregnant. So.
There are times that I'm practical. I want to vomit, but I can't even vomit. But I feel, and sometimes to my face, I remember I went to school one time and my lecturer was like, hey, Martha, hey. Then we were talking about, I said, Madam, my ass, yeah, I'm coming about school. And she was like, are you sure? And I said, yeah, because my face looked pale. My face had become bigger. And I was in course, so my feet had become bigger. And I go through that so anytime I'm menstruating and you see me, you might easily know. Unless maybe I try to put some makeup on my face. So if you observe me most of the times, I do, even the ones when I'm going for events, I do makeup or other things. But most of the times, on a normal day, I hardly do makeup. But sometimes if I feel that this thing is coming, then I have to put some foundation on my face so that at least I still have my normal face. I'm just bringing this because I want to make a point that, do you think that being a woman in this menstruation thing is stressful?
Yes, it is. Menstruation itself is not an easy thing. You know, there are people who even be in their menses and it looks like they are sick, as you said. And
Yes,
she also rightly
me,
mentioned
there are lots of
that.
times I'm sick.
And then some will even be in their menses and they don't actually want to even be closer to people. Like they just prefer to be alone.
Sometimes you feel this smell. I remember there was a time that I spoke, everyone was inviting me, I was like, Hannah, I can't come. I feel like I'm smelling. She was like, you don't chicken, you don't smell. It's because it's you feel that there is something wrong with you and you are smelling. So I think that menstruation has been overrated.
Yeah.
When I say overrated, I mean we think it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
We think, and sometimes I have to cancel appointment or check my. I have a calendar, an app that I use. So when I check like 2 or 3 days, I'm about to menstruate. So I have to have some meetings before because when I'm to menstruate, I'm menstruating. Like if I was menstruating, like I can't have this show. Because one moment I'm okay, and sometimes it's not very painful, but you are so uncomfortable. You can't sit, you can't eat, you can't feel like and before you eat, maybe like you have to do something peppery. So sometimes I would like take some very like hot pepper. And for young girls who might not have quote unquote the privilege that we have, because like, if I'm menstruating, I can just stay in my own. So please, I can't come for this meeting. I can't do this or I can't do that. Or even go to get the ice creams and the things that we are craving for. So for young people like that, that is where sometimes they are at a point where you have to give their bodies for sex. You remember we had that discussion?
Yes.
We had that discussion with some guys,
Yes.
and they were like, oh, some girls would want to have what do you call it? Maybe a guy wants to deceive her and say, I want to buy you a pad, and it's happening in the real community.
It's happening. I mean, for me, I have seen quite a number, and there are even some ladies, I mean, in the community that we are working with, who are actually victims of this. Even young mothers, when you go to the community, you have been there, so you know what I'm talking about. When you travel to the communities and you hear things, you kind of feel like, so does this really exist?
Sometimes even not like you even share tears before
You
you
even
come
share
back.
tears.
Yeah.
Because
Some have never seen the pad
Before.
exactly. I remember in 2017, we were conducting a free screening for Kumbungu, and where we have to demonstrate how young people should use sanitary pad and all that stuff. And to my amazing surprise, there were some kind of students in the secondary school level, students, and they didn't even know how or even heard of pad.
Wow.
They were using only the wrappers we used to use those days. And those things are not good.
They're not hygienic.
They are not hygienic.
I want us to
It
do a
doesn't actually help. It
demonstration.
doesn't actually help at all.
Some of us
Because
don't know how to use the pad.
yes. So I mean, if maybe we can continuously, even at the schools level, educate the children. For me, I always say that education starts from home.
I don't think it's just education. You've educated me, I can use the pad. I don't have money to buy. And sometimes when I see people doing pad aid, like to go and give people, I'm like, okay, so when I use it for this month and next month, that's all.
What happens?
What happens
Yes.
next?
There's no the
So-
continuity.
So
is not
sometimes,
there.
yeah. So sometimes people like not me myself. I mean, not my organization, but sometimes I want to support people. I'm like, I ask them, so like maybe Fadila, if you are Jennifer, if you are Hikmat, or any. I'm like, okay, so this thing we are doing, of course, but how long, or should we start adopting one or two girls and say that okay, I'm going to sponsor you pad for a year, so that maybe at the end of the day, maybe you can get a box. There are some box of pads that contains about 48 or maybe 40. So maybe can I make that sacrifice and buy it for you? And how am I sure it will even get to a year? Because there are times you have a lot of heavy flow.
Heavy flow, yes.
Now let's look at how to fix the pad. We are not advertising any pad because none of you is sponsoring our show. If you want to come and sponsor the reflection show,
Yeah.
not just because of the show, but there are lots of young girls out there. There are some pads that can even help reduce infections.
Yes.
So when you have an infection or so, I nearly mentioned the name of this pad. So this pad, you can't guess because it's white paper. You can't guess. But this brand of pad was given to me by a company, an organization. I was doing some work with them, and this pad comes with a test kit. So after and before every menstruation, I take a swab, and if the color, I forgot, I have to check it, like it has two color. If the color changes to yellow, it means I have an infection.
Yeah.
If it doesn't change, it means I am safe.
Oh.
So it helps me to know what is happening to me or what is not happening to me. But it's quite expensive because I think it's just like 8 in a pack. And it's even more expensive than those with 20 in a pack. So it even treats candidiasis. When you use it continuously, it reduces the viral load a lot. But you see, this is good. But we may not be able to recommend this for a lot of 12, 13-year-old girls, except their parents are willing to invest in that. We'll come to that, how parents can also invest in that. But right now, let's look at, so if you want to buy a pad, let's look at some of the things you need to look at. The texture, is it heavy, is it of cotton? Some pads, I wore some pads, when I just wore it now, heat.
And some even get rashes at the end of the menstrual.
Yes,
God.
yes. So it's possible to try different pads. Sometimes I do that. You try different pads. But ever since I began using this, it actually even reduces the abdominal pains for me. It does. So I think these are some of the things you have to look out for. Let me stop this and let's move because I'm getting tempted to mention the name
Of the
of
party.
the pad.
Okay.
Okay, so
So yeah, I want you to do the demonstration. I'm giving you the
okay.
Please, viewer discretion is advised.
Yes. So, first of all, as my sister said, you have to look at the type of
I'm just
pants.
imagine somebody's wondering whose
You have
size
to-
is this.
Okay, this is this is stretchable, so
Yeah.
anybody can use
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
You know, so you have to look at the type of pants you are buying, and also try to check the side, whether if it is cotton or if it is nylon.
So if
Because
it's cotton.
this is cotton,
Yeah.
so this is safe. But how many young girls can afford this?
Yes.
That's the problem. So you need to wash your hands very well, because what can be seen in this
Yeah.
eye cannot be seen by naked eyes. So you have to wash your hands very well, dry up your hands well, because if the hands is wet and then you use it on the pants, of course you are not helping yourself, because the place
You
is
know, when you said this, I
moisturized.
remember when we were doing a demonstration on how to wear the condom. Then someone said you have to wash your hands very well so that it doesn't enter the condom for infections. Then someone said that there's no time. There's no time to wash your hands to come and now.
If you are
When
not
the
careful, the
condom-
thing will just go down.
But that is the best thing.
So now, please, it's not even we'll come to that. But if you don't want to go and wash your, so wash your hands before the girl even comes to the bed, or just pull out a wet twice and clean your hands and wear the
Or
condom.
even use sanitizer.
Yeah,
At least if you cannot wash
Wash
at
your
that
hands.
period,
yeah,
you
just
should use
use
sanitizer.
So have sanitizer on your bed. This what's the name? This season that is coming, a lot of fun seasons are coming. People are going to do things. Okay, so
you
yes.
need to wash your hands, as I said. Wash your hands very well, thoroughly, before you even take your pants.
Okay.
And then examine the pants very well. Probably there could be anything, insect or
Yeah.
something, that you put it on your bed.
It's true.
It will bite
Insect.
you. So you have to access all
None of
those things.
snakes are appearing in WC.
So, and not even that as such, MTN,
Those
the red, and so you have to check the pants very well, and then place the pants nicely.
so the front side should be here.
The front side should be here.
Then you not take your
Rubber.
And
pad.
you now take your pad nicely.
And you-
But this rubber, when you remove the pad, one thing you should know
Okay.
is that when you open it like this,
Okay, let me also do some.
exactly, there is something you observe here. This place is a bit wider,
Okay.
and here is a big
Slimmer.
Please, can you zoom into mine
So-
so I can?
Exactly. So when you take it like that, you take it like this.
Okay.
But this rubber is very important. You don't discard this, because when you are taking off your pad, you have to fold it in this one and tie it in your rubber before you discard it. So you keep this with
Okay.
you. So when you open it like this, as I said, this place is a bit wider and here is a bit slimmer. So where it's slim, you place
it
it in
front.
front of the pad, the pants rather. And then where it's wide,
At
you
the
place
back.
it at the back.
Why?
Why? Because when you put on the pants, exactly, you are doing the demonstration.
Yes.
When
You
you
put on the pad.
yes, this place covers
So
up
like
to
this.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
exactly.
Comfortable.
And you
So
notice,
this one covers up
Some
to
people are now imagine how I look like.
so when the flow is coming, it flows down.
It
It doesn't
flows
flow.
downwards.
There are sometimes if it is heavy, it can flow up and down, but mostly it flows down.
downwards. So when you put it like that, it makes you safe. You don't end up staining your things. So when you put it like that, as I said, you know, of course, you'll be opening here. So it's very good you wash your hands, because cross infection. And when you are in your menses, you are high and prone to infections.
Infections, yes.
Because there is something flowing out, and then you also are open. When you even look at the female sexual reproductive
Yeah.
organ,
It opens
it's
when you are.
open.
It's open.
So you are open and prone to infections. So that is why you have to pay critical attention to yourself during your menses, during and after your menses. Because during your menses, something comes out. And right after your menses, something still comes out. The spot that comes out. So you have
And
to pay
sometimes
critical...
I heard someone say it's called mukuso, marikuso. What? There's this white thing. It's like
Is it the one before or after?
the one after.
The one after.
It's like
Is it the brownish one?
some is brown, some is
It
pure
varies,
white.
it
It's like
varies.
phlegm, like the nose
Yes,
thing.
mucus.
Yes, yeah, that
Yes.
one.
Ah,
I
mucus.
oh!
It's
I want it
mucus.
to bounce.
And don't bad.
You know, that's it.
It's mucus.
For the
Mucus.
discharges, yes.
Okay.
For the discharges, you have to pay critical attention to it. You said during your presentation, you were talking about before your menses,
so
you
sometimes
get
it
this
just
kind of
comes
discharges.
just normal.
You see, we have to pay attention to
the
ourselves
kind of discharge,
more.
yeah.
Because you look at the color of the discharge.
Mm.
That will determine if it is an infection or is a regular discharge.
Okay.
You understand? So if you observe, if it is an infection, it affects your flow. That is the menstrual disorders. It affects your flow. And then it comes with, some have abdominal pain, waist pain and all that. When you are having infection, a severe infection, at some point you have abdominal pain. So it might not be the menstrual cramps, but it might be from the infection you had.
Yes, I think I was telling you about a diagnosis I had.
Yes.
And when they were telling me that I have hormonal imbalance,
Yes.
I had what that was causing there. But they actually said they wanted to check if I had an infection that was causing the menstrual pains.
Yeah.
So I had to do a scan. I had to do plenty things.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, it was not that. It was an ovarian cyst.
Yes. So why am I saying this? You know, usually you hear people saying that, okay, me, when I'm about to get my menses, I get this kind of discharges. So even at some parts of the month, you get that discharges and you think that it's normal. But it's not normal.
Yeah.
It's actually an infection.
Yeah.
So you have to go to the hospital or talk to your doctor to check yourself.
Okay. While you are learning how to demonstrate this in your house, let's take a break.
Yele. Praise the Lord. Wow. Yeah. Are you ready? Okay.
Like a rainbow, so my life be colorful. If you don't know, a life with this man is beautiful. Sing to the glory of
Oh yeah, sing to the glory of God.
Sing to the glory of
Oh yeah, sing to the glory of God.
It's He I know. Everywhere I go, it's He I see. Anything I do, it's He I go. Seeking first all things you shall get.
We are still here teaching ourselves how to wear the pad properly. So let's just wrap around that one.
So when you place your pad like this in your pants, you gently remove this one. You see where my hand is kept. So you can imagine if your hand is not washed,
What
and then
will
you
happen?
place it there, what would happen? So after removing this,
Yeah.
after removing this, you gently have to take this one.
The
This
wings,
pad
you
is
call it the wings.
really good.
Yeah.
So to cover the back of the pants like this. That is just to support and hold the pants so that it wouldn't be shifting that much, or probably you even be walking and by the time you realize you can't find your pad.
Yeah.
And you know how that feels. So you bring this one to the back here, and you can see that here is supporting the pad. It's holding the pad tight. So it's safe and it's tight. So no matter how you even turn yourself, it's still holding it tight.
Play ball, basketball, ride
Basketball, do whatever you want to do with it. It's there. Those days where there was no pad, you put tissue, you go and you knit,
But
you are
sometimes
going
even
back.
with this, if you're not lucky and you take some that are not so together, you
Yes.
can even wear trousers. Sit down when you get up. Then it's can. I remember there was a time I took some pad. I was in trousers. I don't know why my pad shifted, so the blood flew on my thighs.
Wow.
and I was at work.
Oh God.
So I had to, luckily it was cold, so I had the jacket, so I had to try to cover myself and rush home and change. So I think that just need to look out for the right pad. And I think the right pant too is also a factor, because you have to make it tight to tight you. If you get it too loose, it can.
And you
will not
also
shut.
Yes, you should also look at the pants, because if you go and take a pant that is very lighter, and then this sexy pants is, that one when you put the pad, of course it will shift.
There are some people I know who wear pads with G-strings and it works for them.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know.
I've never had that.
I've heard of
kind of underwear.
Because it's just a string, they just put it on it and just wear. And because it's 4-hour interval, by the time she removes it, it's just staying on.
Let's look at shaving. A lot of girls don't like shaving. And there are times that, especially if you had, there are some small cloths, petty cloths. It comes very, very tiny. And if you're not careful and you have very stubborn, even like this our hair can be very stubborn.
Yeah.
And you don't wash yourself very well. It can smell.
You're right.
Huh? Do you think we should always shave at least before menstruation?
Not shaving necessarily, but just down cutting it.
Okay.
You shouldn't shave it completely.
Hey, I learned that thing too. Like we say
You don't do that.
The English will say Brazilian wax.
Okay. Exactly. You don't do that because the hair being there have a purpose.
Really?
Yes.
Yes, it protects you. In fact, God in His own wisdom does things in a wonderful way.
So you don't overshave. Don't let it overgrow.
Don't let it overgrow.
Grow.
And don't also shave conquani.
Yeah.
Just trim it. Just cut it, so that at least there will still be something to protect the place. You understand? So you don't shave it conquani. You don't just remove everything, but you kind of trim it down. Use your scissors, and you should also look at the type of object you are using to cut it down. Whether it's an old one, whether it's a new one, whether it's sterilized.
That's for people using their instruments, right?
Exactly.
Those who don't have access to shaving sticks.
Shaving sticks.
Or the electrical one.
Exactly. So you have to look at all these things, because where you are putting it, there are a lot of things that you are putting in there and you don't know the harm it's causing. Do you get it?
Women, we are powerful. Things go there. And human beings even come out from that place.
Right. Still.
Hey, I don't want to start on that topic because we don't have even up to 10 minutes. Let's give our final words. Unfortunately, 1 hour is almost up. Can you imagine? Let's give our final words.
Okay, so my final words about it is that I want every guy who is out there and who is watching, please, we need cuddles, we need hugs, we need nice shoulder massages. Just tell me I look beautiful during this time, even though I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
That thing, like, baby, I got you. You're fine. You're beautiful just the way you are. Even for children. Parents can also say this to their children. It will make you feel so much love. You don't feel so ashamed. I remember when this thing happened to me in the office, I was so ashamed. The boys just covered me and used my sweater to tie me, and they just escorted me out. Wow. I felt so, like, me too. Somebody can just take care of me. Like I felt so good in me, because every time, and they are Muslims, they're not supposed to touch me when I'm menstruating. I felt so good. So please and please, we are begging.
I think it goes for everybody. Even some ladies might not even want to be so open about that. So I think that it's a good cause for not just guys or parents, but I think everyone who is human should understand that anything could happen to you.
Right. Okay, my last words will go to parents. And what I just want to say is that parents should know that pad is a necessity and not a want.
The government should know that as well.
I'm working on a project.
And to reduce
and
the
I'm sharing that with you.
Okay.
Yes, right after this. Pad is a necessity and not a want. Parents should make it accessible, available for their children. Because most of our problems in the society, teenage pregnancy, drug abuse, these are all things that are contributing to that. You can imagine if a child being bad and she's not able to get there.
Yeah.
She goes to talk to a friend who is on the streets, who is a drug addict. After she provided it, she would by all means influence her to join her. And when she joins her, what happens? She becomes a victim. She becomes part of the gang. She is a drug addict. She becomes a drug addict. And at the end of it, she will be impregnated on the streets. You can imagine.
It's serious.
So parents should make it accessible, available
Yeah.
to their wards.
Just quickly, I forgot to show our viewers how do we dispose it from here.
Okay, so when you are full and then you remove it, you just remove it gently, again, like this, and then you fold it like that. Do you see that? You fold it like this.
It's your blood. Don't
It's
be
your
ashamed
blood.
to touch it.
Don't be. And the smell too. I know some people would say they cannot stand the smell. And you now know the importance of this rubber. Then you gently place it on it to cover it. Fold it around like that. Like that. At the end of it, when even a child comes in, she wouldn't know whether it is a biscuit or is that your pad you have removed. Then you gently put it in your rubber and then tie it and discard it. Put it in your trash can. Let me see.
Those who want to burn. Those in that gang. I don't know if I have the heart to stand and burn a pad. Hey! It's been amazing. It's been wonderful. And maybe we should have more women in the studio. Maybe have some girls chats, and there are lots of things girls can talk about. And then it will be amazing. I've been speaking with Kenny, who's not. She's a relationship coach, and Fadila Hussein, founder of Tiubaho Foundation, and also a professional on it. And we've learned so much, and we have renewed our information on menstrual hygiene, etc. Sometimes you begin that episode, and think 1 hour is so long, but by the time you know 1 hour is gone, and you just have to draw down the curtains. Please get me a copy of Inspiration for Purpose. I believe some of you might have seen this, heard about this a number of times, and you don't know where to get a copy. You can get a copy of my book, Inspiration for Purpose, at africareads.org. Download the africareads.org app on the Google Play Store. And if you are in Tamale or anywhere in the northern region, you can get in touch with me on 05495785512. Or just go to our website, www.marthainspires.org, or on Facebook at Martha Inspires Foundation. Our contact details are there. Send us an email at marthainspires@gmail.com and you will get a copy. This book is an amazing book. It's amazing. It's not because it's my book, because it took me 7 years to write it. And there have been amazing people who have read through this book, and they have given me their comments. And these are not people that will always sugarcoat, but these are people that if I'm wrong, they'll tell me, hey, you are wrong, you did bad. But this book, they actually said that I've done so well. So let's do so well together. And then we also call on sponsors for the Reflection Show. I'm back. I've been calling sponsors, and please come and support us, come and sponsor us. We've done amazing episodes. You can also watch our episodes on YouTube. Martha Inspires is a YouTube channel name. Just go on Martha Inspires and you see a lot of our episodes. It's been an amazing discussion. Thank you, ladies, for coming, and thank you also for watching. My name is Martha, and Nabila. Do have a good night.